I forget now how many days after the armistice was signed, that they told us that they had signed an armistice between the Chinese and the Americans, and that we would be going home. Well, we kept waiting. Well, first of all, after they told us, they told us at a camp meeting. They called a meeting of the whole camp, and they told us that armistice had been signed and that we would be going home. They released me on the 17th day of August, and took me into a field hospital there in Panmunjom. They said, "What do you want to eat?" He says, "You can have anything you want. It's been flowing in here for you." I said, "Give me the biggest dish of ice cream and the biggest glass of milk you can," because those was 2 dairy products that I hadn't had in almost 3 years. Then we come into San Francisco, and we come in at night, and they parked out. They wouldn't dock the ship at night, and they parked it out right beside the Alcatraz. Some of the guys was threatening to go overboard. And so then next day they brought us into San Francisco there at the bay. After we got into Frisco, I was looking to see if there was anybody there that I knew on the dock. And I spotted Mother. And I remembered the clothes that she was wearing. And that's how I spotted her, was the suit or whatever she had on. I knew it was her. Well, the main change that I seen was people would, especially if I'd meet them in town or something, they'd say, "Hi, Jack," or whatever, and I wouldn't know them from Adam because they'd grown up from, in the 3 years that I was gone, they'd changed in size and age and everything. And about half of them, I didn't even, unless they was older people, I didn't even know them. But I'd speak to them, and I got to know them later on. But I had to take what they call psychotherapy treatments, because I was living down here on South Rogers Street, just about a block down the street from the church here. And I was working at a night station up on 10th and Walnut, Shell station there at 10th and Walnut. And I'd come home and I had breakfast and got to sleep. And a jet come down and crossed top of my house, and I was opening the back door before I realized where I was. And Mother said, "Well, where are you going?" I said, "I'm leaving this place," because that's what we would do there in Korea. As long as they stayed at high altitude, we wouldn't. We just turn back over, go back to sleep. But if we hear them peel off, well, then we knew to hit the ditch. Get out of the building and hit the ditch. We'd patched a hole in this side of this building. And this bed check Charlie come in and had spotted a light somewhere on that road. And he come down and started machine gunning down the road. We opened the door and started to go out, and we said, we ain't going out that way. And all once I turned around and looked, and Shorty'd already gone through the hole in the wall. And I went through right behind him, and the rest of them come in behind us. We went out the ditches behind the building and that we had dug previously. I needed, when I had that one, I knew I needed help. And I've made some mistakes since I come home from Korea. My biggest one, I think, was in '58. I tried to re-enlist and go back in because I couldn't get a job. And instead of asking for an increase in money because they seen this psychotherapy treatment in my records, and so they made me go talk to a psychiatrist, and he turned me down flat, re-enlisting. And I, instead of asking for an increase in disability, which I should have had at that time, I didn't ask for it. I asked for training instead. And the training didn't do me very much good. I got 20% almost from the first year that I was home. I went to Indianapolis and took I got 10% on nerves, which is PTSD now, or D, and I got 10% on bursitis. Well, a few years later, they called all of us POWs into the hospital for what they called POW protocol. And they discovered my feet was froze, or frostbite. Well, here come a letter from the VA regional office. You don't have frostbite feet. That was first paragraph. Second paragraph, maybe you do have frostbite feet, but it's not service connected. How in the devil did I get it if it wasn't service connected? So I go immediately, once I get that letter, I go, first time I'm back in Indianapolis, I go to the DAV office, which I'm a life member of the Disabled Veterans Organization. And he took all that information down and made a copy of the letter and everything. And he said, things is going to change. Well, that's when they started these presumptives in the Congress. And they got a presumptive for frostbite feet. Well, they gave me 10%. And I kept that 30% clear up to 99.